Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Average Movie Review Podcast. I hope you're doing wonderful on this Tuesday. Today we're going to be reviewing episode 5 of The Last of Us Part 2. If you haven't seen the episode, please go watch it and then come back. If you've seen the episode, which I'm assuming most people already have, you'll know that this was actually a really good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very, very intense. One thing I love about this show that they do so well is that whenever they're introducing something new, something terrifying, right? The introduction of that thing is done in such an intense and like fearing way where it just captures you right off the bat. Right off the bat, like the first episode, the beginning of the episode, we see the prophet, and then she's interrogating. Well, not interrogating, but she's talking to someone, and then that someone reveals how the infection has now spread into the air, and we're introduced to the concept or the idea of spores, right? And the way that it's introduced to us, right? It's just so captivating that you're sitting there and you're watching and you're like, holy crap. Like, first of all, you thought it couldn't get any worse and now it just hit level 2. Like, like what the hell do you mean it's in the air? So kudos to that. That's a great way to start the episode. I also want to take a minute and say, I feel like this show is not talked enough in the sense of a great video game adaptation. The way things are, like how Fallout is praised for a great video game adaptation to TV, which I think it is absolutely an amazing adaptation. I love that show, and I can't wait till season 2 comes out, which is at the end of this year. That was just announced, but I feel like this show also should get that as well, that praise from people watching it. I feel like the people who are watching it, who are giving it those low scores, are the people who played the video game and also hated the fact that they killed Joel, which is such a stupid little thing. Like it's hurtful, yes, like it hurts us as fans, but still, such a great way of doing it. Like I don't think you would hold George R. R. Martin if he wrote it like this. Like, you know what I mean? Like Game of Thrones killed so many of our beloved characters, but we still watch the show and we still enjoy every little bit of it up until season 7, of course. But that's a whole other discussion. Um, I feel like this show deserves its flowers. This episode again has proven to me that Ellie, Bella Ramsey, may have been a really good choice for Ellie. The intensity that she shows, and I feel like as this season progressed, her acting and got way better. Every episode, she took it up a notch, and kudos to her. Great job on that part. She deserves it 100%. Dia has been solid throughout the entire episode. I mean, the entire season, really. Amazing casting on their end. But going back to the episode, the introduction of the spores was done so well. It was like, wow, absolutely amazing. It captivated me in the first 5 minutes of the episode. I was locked in, I was ready. And another thing I want to mention is the opening credits. So beautifully done. I don't think this is AI generated. I'm pretty sure this was something that someone did. Kudos to them, man. I watched it again today and I'm like, this is such a beautiful thing to watch. And the music is just perfect. Um, Going forward into deeper into the episode, right? We know that they're heading towards the hospital to get Nora. Um, they on their way they meet a bunch of dead scars, right? Ellie kind of questions what she's doing, and then Dina gives her backstory as to who she killed first and how it happened and whatnot. And it's very sad to hear and all of that. And she said it herself that this isn't about. I guess it is about revenge, but in the fact that like if this were to happen to anyone else, they'd be doing the exact same thing, which is probably very true. It is very hard to let go of things in life, especially when you've been done wrong. So she, I guess it was her way of reiterating to Ellie that like no matter what happens, I know you're putting yourself in danger. This is worth it because this is what anyone would have done regardless of what people say. So kudos to them for reiterating that. The chemistry between Dina and Ellie is fantastic. I think Bella Ramsey and Isabella Mercedes do such a good job of bringing these characters to life, and also their relationship as well. So again, great job there. We get Jesse comes back into the episode as well. He finds them. We know Tommy is out there as well, so that's a good sign as well. I guess I know exactly how season 2 will end and how season 3 will start. Season 2 will be, I guess, mostly focused on Ellie's portion of the journey, and then probably season 3 will be the end of or the beginning of Abby's journey after she killed Joel, and or how she got to Joel and all of that, and then basically the finale will be season 3, which makes perfect sense now. So I guess they're not really rushing things. I think they're taking their time, but there are certain things that they are skipping through, obviously from the game, but still really, really good. Um, we see that Jesse is back. They have that big, big fight scene in the Metro Pass, which was pretty cool to watch as well. And then they go through the parks, and then we get even a more interesting outlook on the Seraphites and the Scars and who they are and how they handle themselves. We know that there are some areas where the WLF will not be going into because the Scars control that area, and we get a look at another Scar character. I can't remember her name, but she's also very important in the game as well, if I remember correctly, I think. But yeah, phenomenal job on that part, giving us a little bit more insight on the Scars. We'll get to know them a little bit more once we get to Abby's side of the story, of course, which will probably be season 3. But it's a great way of introducing and reminding us that they're still out there. Um, Another great whole point, or like I guess part of the episode for me, was the ending, right? Like I think that's where a lot of people I've read on Twitter and like Discourse, Reddit, all that stuff, like people are a little upset with the I guess acting of Bella Ramsey or the way she portrayed herself in that scene, and I think people are just stupid, to be quite honest. I think they don't remember how the game was. If you remember playing that game, up until I would say the middle of the game, not even the middle, right up until the end, actually, Ellie was upset. Ellie was determined. She was a little bit psychotic. She was a little bit crazy. She only had one goal in mind, and that was to avenge Joel. And a lot of people were saying, "Oh, she looks so psychotic while she's doing this. She didn't, she didn't. She looks like she's not enjoying it. She's focused, right? She has to be shown as a strong character, especially in this scene when she's hunting down Nora, and she is trying to intimidate her, right? Trying to make her feel weak, make herself look bigger. And Bella Ramsey does a fantastic job of that, right? She has to scare Nora into telling her where Abby is, right? We get a better look at the spores themselves. We also get a look at Leon, who was mentioned right at the beginning of the episode. He's still alive, but of course he's a spore. He's been living for years, clearly, and you know we we get to see a different side of Ellie, a side that I think a lot of people have been waiting for, because that's what I remember from the video game. That's how I remember her character to be. Because in the sequel, she's much more determined and focused than what than in the first game. She's a different person. She's much more older now, right? And all she has on her mind is vengeance. So I think personally they did a fantastic job of bringing that out in her. I was scared. If I was Nora, I would be probably freaked out at the way she was looking at me, at the way she handled herself. She knew what she needed, and she knew that she had to get it out of Nora no matter what. I loved the little transition they did right at the end to show us that we're going back into the past, and we're going to get that wonderful, wonderful episode of her and Joel hanging out until Joel tells her the truth, of course. But yeah, I love that part of the game. I remember playing it. The next episode, it's going to be a beautiful but tragic episode at the same time. I can already tell. So happy to see Pedro back as well. But yeah, I think a wonderful, wonderful episode. This was definitely an 8.5 out of 10 for me. I thought it was beautifully done. The transitions were great. The story progressed. It didn't feel too rushed. I think everything was pacing was great as well. And we know if you've played the game, you know where this is headed. You know how this will end. So I'm excited to see that. And if you haven't played the game, then you're in for a ride. I promise you, it's going to be a lot of fun. It will be another cliffhanger, so be ready for that. But it'll be worth it. I can tell you that much. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this episode. I'm super excited for next week's episode and the episode after that. I'd love to hear from you guys, and let me know what I can do better, man. I want to know what can I do to keep you guys engaged. Please, please let me know. I'm open to all tips and suggestions. So let me know. I know all tips is crazy, right? That's wild. Okay, thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day.